Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. Before we get to all of the news and the transfer news, what a banger of a start for the Premier League season. Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2. If you want to check out my post-match reaction, which is going to drop straight after this, I'm going to record it. I'm going to drop it. So make sure you go to Ms. TV, Total Football. Subscribe to that channel. You're going to get all the other news about all other teams besides Chelsea. All your Chelsea content is going to be here. But fantastic start. I really do feel for Bournemouth. I'm going to talk a lot about that on that channel. Make sure you subscribe. Now, we've got a lot to talk about Chelsea, man. There's news. Maresca speaking out, wants a defender. There's news in regards to Cucurella, new contract. Fantastic. We're going to talk about this because this is the first of its kind under this ownership. And of course, whole heap of transfer news that needs to be talked about in deeper level. Now, let's kick things off from here, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier today, first press conference of the season, the new season that is starting. Maresca has come out and pretty much in summary is saying, I need a defender that can play out from the back, especially from the middle. I don't need a central defender. I need a defender that can play out from the middle. There's a difference here. He's not just saying, get me any sort of defender. Just get me someone who can defend centrally. No. He's saying, get me a defender that can play in a back three, but play from the middle. Because he's been talking about that last season. It was either Levi Colwell or it was either Tosin. It was, swapped. It was tested between those two players to take that responsibility to play out from the back, from the middle. This season, it's only Tosin. Levi Colwell, ladies and gentlemen, we already know, ACL injury. He's pretty much out for the whole season. So this is what Maresca had to say. Let's have a look at what he's saying. Let's go through all of those quotes, and then we're going to make our opinion on it. And just like always, I want to see what you guys have to say in the comment section. Maresca, we build with Levi in the middle. Last year, we played 64 games. We played 64 games with Levi and Tosin. Damn, I had no idea. I thought surely some of those games, there must have been Chalobah in the middle somewhere. Excuse me. But no, it was only Levi Colwell and Tosin. The only one that can do that job well is Tosin right now because there's no Levi Colwell. The rest, they can adapt. Hato never played making three in the middle. It's not about being a central defender. There you go. He's literally saying, I don't need a defender that can be a central defender to defend. No, I need a defender that can play out from the middle. It's very crucial for us. Hato, he could potentially do that, as he's saying. He can adapt, but it's not like he's done this previously at Ajax. I think he's got the technical quality, but it is going to be an adaptation. It's not something that it comes naturally, just the way it came naturally to, just the way it still comes naturally to Tosin, and the way it came naturally for Levi Colwell. Next up, Maresca goes on to say, also, we have players that unfortunately have some problems, and this is the reason why I said the club knows exactly what I think about central defenders. There you go. I think he's pretty much indirectly or directly, whatever you want to say it, is saying that I need a defender that can play out from the middle. Look, Wesley Fofana, I don't think he can do that. He's more of an aggressor. Benoit Badiashile, I think he could potentially do that, but he's generally not available. And on top of that, the quality sometimes seems to desert him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not consistent. So he's also mentioned that, if you tell me that there's a couple of players that are injured and they're going to come back, utilize them, they're not good enough either. Maresca, Benoit and Romeo, this is Romeo Lavia, are in the process to come back. Trev is okay. Fofana could be available. We'll see. So, look, there's some injury cloud going around moving into this match against Crystal Palace. Look, against Crystal Palace, I think we could go by. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tosin obviously will be available and he can be utilized in the middle. We've seen Acheampong given an opportunity to play from the middle in the preseason. We've got some Acheampong news as well. I mean, if this move happens, I think there'll be a disaster. It'll be a great move for Bournemouth. He's leading with Bournemouth. But yeah, we can't utilize Tosin for every single game of the season. There's Champions League, there's Premier League, there's the domestic cup. So I hear what Maresca's saying. I really do. I thought maybe he might just roll the dice with Acheampong, perhaps even Anselmino here and there. But yeah, I hear what the fans are saying. It's too much of a risk to take and throw these young players into the deep end when you do need to have experience in the likes of Levi Colwell. Levi Colwell now, this would have been his third season in the Premier League. Well, would have been his fourth if you count the loan move at at Brighton as well. So you need that level of experience. Now, Hato could be a solution, but once again, it's going to take adaptation. He's never played in the middle. So I understand what Maresca is saying. And Maresca is clearly saying, ladies and gentlemen, he wants a central defender that can play out from the back, who's a ball-playing defender from the middle. So I don't know who's available. The one name that I thought when I was watching Club World Cup and I was very impressed by was Antonio Silva now, but I don't know whether Antonio Silva can do that from a central defensive point in a back three. Maybe he can. I've not watched enough of him. A lot of people have different names. We'll see. Apparently, we're already talking to a central defender who's quite capable of doing that. We'll see who that defender is down the track. But the bottom line is Maresca wants someone, and I really do think the club, the directors, the scouts, the owners, they really should be now doing their level best to listen to Maresca. I think Maresca has earned the respect to get what he wants, and we should be listening to him as to what the problems are for the squad. And it is an important season where we want to compete in the Premier League, we want to compete in the Champions League, and want to do some damage in the domestic cups as well. So look, I know there's a lot of people that might say, look, you've got a lot of defenders, make do, but this is a specialized position that I don't think you can just tell Maresca to make do. And then if the season goes sideways, we can't complain that, oh, it's all on you, Maresca. He's literally saying, give me an option. I know this could be a potential issue down the track once Levi comes back, then what? But someone's got to leave. Down the track, someone's got to leave. Look, Desasi, we're not even considering. He needs to leave. Chalobah's always been in the chopping blocks. And who knows, maybe down the track, Badir Shiel and Wesley Fofana, all of these guys will need to leave. So don't worry about what needs to happen in the future. Worry about what needs to happen right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Now, big news, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea have completed a new contract agreement with Marc Cucurella, signed and sealed. Fantastic news. This is the first of its kind under this new ownership and this new directors. Marc Cucurella, I believe he's 28, 29, his age. Let me have a quick look at his age. Cucurella, age... He's 27. He's 27, and yeah, so he'll be 28 next year. He's already turned 27 in July. So this is the first time we're seeing a 27-year-old getting a new contract under this ownership. You know how the new ownership and the directorship feel about players over the age of 25, but this is sensational to see that they do believe in players over 25 as long as they're the right one. And then, he's our player and is a very, very important player. He's probably, for me, one of the best left backs in the Premier League, if not the best left back right now. So I fully appreciate this new contract, and I'm so ecstatic, so happy that Cucurella signed it. He was already on big wages. Don't forget, he was, I think, somewhere around 175,000. So I'm sure his new contract will probably take him close to the 200,000 mark. So once again, our club, in terms of the wage structure, in terms of age over 25, they're looking to bend this for the right players, especially when they've done a lot of good with us. So kudos to Cucurella, kudos to the club. And down the track, let's see what we do with players like Enzo Fernandez, with players like many more that surely sooner or later we're going to talk about new contracts. So fantastic to see. And I love this. As I said, Cucurella, big player, importante player. Good that we got Hato as a backup. I think that's perfect. But this guy is definitely one of our major, major players. Now, next up, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Nkunku has personal terms agreement with Bayern Munich. Now, it depends on if Bayern buy him permanently, because if they will, it will be easier for Chelsea to complete Xavi Simons deal. This Xavi Simons deal, too much connection with all these other players. It can only happen if he goes or he goes. And yeah, I just worry that Simons can stay patient, and apparently he will stay patient. Chelsea strategy, one player in, one player out. There you go. So look, Nkunku, we're hot on his heels right now to get rid of him. Bayern Munich are now on the prowl. Apparently, the personal terms agreement with Bayern is not a problem. Shouldn't be. Bayern make a lot of money, and Nkunku, he's on a lot of wages, and only Bayern Munich can pay that type of money in the Bundesliga. Chelsea are looking for 35 million pounds plus add-ons for Nkunku. Talks continue between clubs coming from Play to Goal. Beautiful, because I think we value him around 40 million. If we get 35 plus 5 million add-ons, we get that 40 million, and I think that is the right price for Nkunku and for Nkunku to move on. Once Nkunku goes, hopefully Xavi Simons comes through, and then we can say, baby, we can move on. Look, unfortunately, Nkunku didn't work out in the Premier League. Overall, I don't think he's a bad player. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Injuries played a part. Physicality played a part. But I'm sure if he goes to Bayern Munich, he's going to absolutely blow things apart for Bayern Munich. Now, next up, check this out. Borussia Dortmund trying to lowball us. Breaking, Borussia Dortmund have bid a loan plus 17.2 million obligation plus heavy sell-on clause for Kani Chukwuemeka. I mean, once again, we valued this player at 40 million. I think that was the price that was getting tatted around. We would have got some sort of loan fee last season. Obviously, his wages probably was taken care of as well. But 17.2 million obligation with another loan fee. I don't know whether it meets our valuation. And I can tell you, Fabrizio Romano has just said Chelsea have immediately rejected the bid described as insulting as more clubs approach them for a permanent transfer. So there you go. Well, we already know Red Bull Leipzig has inquired about Kani Chukwuemeka. I think even Napoli maybe. So, yeah, I know the player wants Dortmund. I get it. The player seems to have a little bit of power in here. But Chelsea shouldn't bend over backwards. And I think Chelsea needs to give that message to Kani Chukwuemeka that we value it at a certain price. Dortmund are trying to lowball us. That's not fair. Why don't you try and convince Dortmund, if they so badly want you and you so badly want them, you convince them saying, hey, pay a little bit more and take my services. I think, look, if we can get somewhere around the 30 million mark, I think that'll do the... Look, none of this loan, don't do this loan business. Just straight up buy him. Straight up buy him for about 30, 35 million with add-ons. And I think there'll be a deal from there on. But I think this one's getting closer and closer. Chukwuemeka obviously wants to start the season. And it's sad as well from his perspective. He's a good player that he hasn't been able to start. But hopefully, Dortmund, you can hurry the F up. Breaking, Chelsea have rejected formal bid from Villarreal for Renato Veiga. Renato Veiga's name in La Liga is huge. Atletico Madrid wanted him, but I don't know, down the track, maybe the price was a bit of an issue. Atletico Madrid ended up getting someone else. Villarreal now hot on his heels as well. Renato Veiga, hopefully there's a lot of suitors, but we need these suitors to come and pay the money. We are also valuing Renato Veiga. I believe Atletico Madrid, what we wanted from them was somewhere around 30 million pounds, approximately. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but Atletico Madrid went for someone a little bit cheaper. And I don't know whether this is the case right now with Renato Veiga, where the price is a bit of an issue. But hopefully there are teams out there that can get Renato Veiga's services, Villarreal being the latest, but Chelsea have already rejected the bid. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, now this is the important one. This is the very, very interesting one. Bournemouth are desperate to sign Josh Acheampong. A club source said, we have held talks and made our intentions very clear, but it's a bit difficult because Chelsea just want to do a dry loan because they don't want to lose him. Look, I don't think we should lose Acheampong one bit. I think there's a big-time player here. I think there is seriously a sensational talent here that can be a superstar at Chelsea Football Club. I don't think we should let go of him on a permanent. I've seen enough to say now this guy can be versatile anywhere in the back line and he can be a top-level player given the opportunity. If he goes to Bournemouth, you see what Iraola, by the way, what a top manager, man. Deserved a lot more against Liverpool, but we're going to talk about that on the second channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to Miss TV Total Football. But this, look, if it's a loan, so be it, because we do have a lot of defenders. Is he going to get enough game time? Probably not. Acheampong probably deserves to play a lot more so he can keep developing. So I'm all up for a loan. But at the same time, I'm all up for him to stay with Chelsea Football Club and get the bits and pieces minutes here and there. You know, he can potentially fight and get a role at Chelsea this season. I feel like just like Saddam Hussein, one season at Bournemouth became a superstar. Now he plays for Real Madrid. Something like that can happen for Acheampong as well. So no, I definitely wouldn't want him to go on a permanent, because if he goes on a permanent to Bournemouth especially, I'm sure he's going to become a top defender. And before you know, he's playing for a top club and Bournemouth are cleaning up with the money. I'm pretty sure we'll probably put a sell-on clause there, like the way we have been in recent times with a lot of our talents. But I don't want to let this guy go one bit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Acheampong. Let's see if there's any other latest news that has dropped since we started recording. Now, that is the latest it's now a lot of talks about Nkunku. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, especially in regards to Maresca wanting a new central defender that can play out from the back, from the middle. And of course, all the other news that we've talked about in terms of transfer news, Cucurella new contract as well. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.